My name is DJ Infantry, and I am legally blind. My passion for the outdoors has taken me to some amazing places, and I have done some incredible things, all with one mission in mind: to inspire you to get outdoors. Welcome to Infantry Outdoors.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Infantry Outdoors. Yours truly, your favorite disabled DJ. I'm the Infantry, back at it again, welcoming you to today's program. And today we are out in my renter's garden. I'm going to show you all about it, how to get started, some great plants you can easily do, and hopefully encourage you to get started now before times get tougher and things get too late. But before we get started, let's acknowledge our sponsors, Silver Connections Group, for all of your websites, all of your web needs, contact them. Also, pure water is at your fingertips with water purification products. Look no further than the experts at Water Purification Products. As well as Mayhem Studios. Put some mayhem in your media with Mayhem Studios. All of my sponsors' contact information will be linked down in the description below. Please feel free to check it out. And also, if you'd like to become a sponsor of the show, write to us at infantryoutdoors.com. All of this information can be found on our website, infantryoutdoors.com. So let's get into the video today, guys. Welcome to my garden. This is the backyard portion of it. This is where a lot of the magic happens and a lot of the food is grown. Now, the reason I wanted to do this video today is to encourage you that whether you're a renter, whether you own, whether you have a small space, you can grow food. It's very simple to do. Everything that I have here is grown in containers, 5-gallon buckets or totes or something similar. Anything that is deep enough that will allow the plant to grow. And today we're going to do a little quick walkthrough of my garden, show you some of the plants that we have here and how easy they really are to grow. Now, some of my plants are new to this year, some of them are from last year. I'm going to go ahead and go over that with you. So let's take a walkthrough and start checking out the garden. Well, what better place to start than right here in the front? Now, all of these trees here, all of these plants are all bell pepper plants. I do grow a lot of peppers in my garden. One, because they're very easy to grow. Two, it's a item that we use a lot in the garden, which is something we're going to get into. And three, I make hot sauces, so it's really important for me to have bell peppers on a regular basis and a lot of different types of varieties of peppers. These that you see here, these containers are all rainbow bell peppers, meaning each one will be a different color. They're not all the same plant. This one right here particularly is one of my favorites. I've never grown it. It is a purple bell pepper. I've never had purple bell peppers in my life. I'm curious to see what color they're going to turn as they ripen. They come in this purple color when they come right off the vine, as you guys can see here, and it's just really cool, the different things that you can grow. And it really is amazing, all of the stuff that comes from the ground that you're able to grow, harvest, and eat. So all of these right here are my bell pepper plants. Very easy to do. Most of these have started this year from seed. There are 3 on the end that we have left from last year's harvest, from last year I live in North Florida, so we really don't have a winter. And one of the benefits of gardening with a container is that if you hit a cold pocket, or in our case cold fronts here in Florida, I'm able to bring my plants inside and keep them from freezing, keep them from winterizing, keep them from, dying out and being able to go over to next year. So I'll show you down here. Here's the 3 plants that we have from last year, and you can tell the difference because last year's didn't have cages on them. This year does have cages on them. These plants here, very easy to do, and I only water twice a week. I water on Thursdays and Sundays, and that's dependent on whether or not we have a lot of rainfall during the week. If we don't have a lot of rainfall during the week, it's been pretty dry around here lately, so it's been twice a week watering. And these all plants have been started since December of last year, so only a few months ago, and they've already got food on them. But this is the bell pepper row. I'll give you guys all of the B-roll on it, let you check out the different varieties of them. Very easy plant to start, to have access to at your store. Peppers are very common. So there you go. There's my row of bell peppers in rainbow variety. So moving over to our next set of peppers, guys, has to be my son's favorite, hands down, are banana peppers. Now we've got 3 banana trees. What I'm going to show you is, again, like last year, this one that has no cage on it is last year's tree. We were able to keep it over the winter, and then we also planted in 2 new ones for this year, mostly because I wasn't producing enough peppers to keep up with my kid. So there you go. These are our bell peppers, and as you can see, there are some pretty substantial bell peppers on there. This one, like I said, has been overwintered and does have a giant bell pepper on it back here, which I'll show you on the camera now. I mean, it is at least, you know, 8 inches long. But each one of these trees produces, and it's all stuff that we eat. I don't waste my time planting things that I don't eat. If I do, it's an experimental thing just to see how it grows in a container. But everything that you see here is all stuff that I've taken the time to say, what does my family eat and what can I harvest and what can I grow? And that's what I've taken the time to do here. So here's our banana peppers. Now, as you can imagine, in any garden, in any home, a big staple are onions. Now, this is the first year I have done onions. I built this box basically just to try this. Now, I have started from sets, which are basically like little tiny onions. And you guys can see we have onions. I have already topped these once already, and I've also dug in around to let the bulbs start to form. I'll zoom in on all of this for you guys to see here. But as you can see, our onions are doing really great. This again is kind of in one of my experimental beds because I've never done onions before. So I'm kind of excited to see how I do. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. And that's the thing, guys. If you want to get into this, it's very simple. You could basically watch a YouTube video and go. It's really not hard. Good dirt, a good housing, proper watering, proper fertilization, and a garden is as easy as can be. It really doesn't take much. Now, this garden I've been doing since I moved into this place 2 years ago. So again, we're on our 2nd year of growing, harvesting, and kind of figuring out what works and what doesn't work. Another thing that you might notice is that my garden isn't full sun like it should be. I don't have a whole lot of sun due to the tree cover. But where I do have everything placed is where it will maximize and get the most amount of sun. So even if you don't have full sun, which back here in the back garden we don't, I'll show you in the front porch garden the difference. But I have everything set to where it gets the most amount of sun, that it maintains the maximum amount of rays, and as you can see, everything is doing well. So you don't have to have the best area, the best conditions to do this. You can do it on your back porch. When I was in an apartment, I grew in 5-gallon containers on my back porch. As long as you're in east or west facing sun, you know, you're pretty much good. So as long as the sun hits it, you'll be able to grow stuff. You may not grow huge yields and have huge harvests, but you will be able to grow. So the onion beds, experiment for this year, and hopefully they're gonna turn out all right. If they do, I mean, all of this stuff I'm going to bring you videos on. This is just a walkthrough of the garden for the first time. I know you guys have never seen it, but this is something that I have done for many years to really try to offset the cost of the grocery store. If you guys have been to the store, you know the cost of a bell pepper, you know the cost of onions. And if you have the space, even small amount of space, garlic, anything can be grown. It's super simple. So, you know, food for thought. Question for you guys. Are you growing anything at home? How are you growing it? And what are you growing? Drop it in the comments below, or if you'd like, write to us at infantry@infantryoutdoors.com. Let's keep moving down, see what else we got in the garden. As we move down from the onions, this is another experimental bed I have this year. This is radishes. I love radishes. And from what I've read on the packaging, it's supposed to be a really quick, really easy turnaround. And as you can see, I have it grown in. This is one of these Christmas buckets that you can slide under your bed. I just bought it just for fun because a radish doesn't need, you know, 6 feet of dirt. You only need about 6 or 8 inches. So I figured I'd give this a try. I have topped this so far this year. We're getting to the point to where we should start forming radishes, so this will be really cool if it works. If it doesn't work, well, hey, that's the wonder of gardening. That's the wonders of trying this, is if it doesn't work, we won't do it again next year. But if it does succeed, we'll definitely be bringing radishes back to the garden next year, even through this year, because again, I love me some radishes. So all about the hot stuff with the infantry. But yep, there's our radishes growing in a container. Now this next set of trees right here are my OGs. These have been with me. These are the first 6 plants I planted in this garden 2 years ago. This is their 2nd year. They survived through the winter. They even produced peppers through the winter. These are my Cayenne trees. If you guys have seen any of our hot sauce videos, this is the Cayenne trees that produce all the cayennes that you see me make the videos for. They're great plants. You can make a variety of things out of them. You can make cayenne powder, you can make red pepper flake, you can make sauces, you can stir fry, tons of things. But these are the OGs. These are the first 6 trees I bought when I moved up here, and they're still producing in the same buckets. Okay, again, as long as you fertilize, you water on a regular schedule, you take care of your plants, you pay attention to them, you pick them when things are ready. All of this stuff we're going to go into in up and coming episodes here, but this is how you sustainably garden using containers. When you have a container, you have a controlled environment in which you control the environment. So if you don't stay on top of your controlled environment, it can get out of hand. This is why we, use fertilizers, we use compost, we use a lot of different things, fish emulsifier, to help give the plants nutrients and things that they need because they can't get it from the ground. But these are my 6 trees that I started with last year, all of which are still producing even through the winter. Amazing. All right, so this last set that we have here are probably the ones I'm most happy about. Starting from here, working this way, these first 3 trees are rainbow habanero plants. When I say rainbow, I mean I don't know what color they're going to come out. There's multiple varieties of different types of peppers, different colors, different flavors, and that's what I'm trying to capture here. And then the one on the end here is hands down my biggest pride and joy so far is my Carolina Reaper. I have another Reaper, which you'll see here in the front garden, working its way up to the bucket stage, but we've got a Reaper, we've got habaneros, we've got cayennes, like I said, a lot of peppers. I love peppers, and a lot of it is, like I said, I just took things that I eat on a regular basis and applied it to my garden. This way I don't have to keep shopping and keep buying things. Making hot sauces. I love making hot sauces, so growing my own peppers makes that process that much easier and a lot cheaper. Also, it helps me, when you have an overabundance, what are you going to do with it? You can freeze them, you can make sauces, you can do all kinds of different things. So these are my 4 trees. These are my super hots I'm very excited for, the Reaper and the 3 rainbow habaneros. We also have other super hots growing as well. I'll take you over now and show you those. As promised, guys, here's my other super hots. Now these 2, I have more in the front, which we'll see when we get to the front garden. But back here in the large buckets, this is what's made it so far. These 2 I actually had to send down to South Florida to get. These are Scotch bonnet peppers. They don't sell them up here. You can't get them up here where I live in North Florida. I love Scotch bonnet peppers, especially for Caribbean style hot sauces. They are a hot pepper. These have just been transplanted within the last week. When I say transplanted, I mean potting up from a small container to a medium-sized container to this container. So they have just in the last week got these new homes. They're just now settling in. They're doing really well. But these I'm very excited for. These are the Scotch bonnet peppers. Big shout out to Auntie for sending them up to me from South Florida. But we've got a lot of other special stuff to check out too as well. So Scotch bonnet peppers, guys. Do you love them? Have you had them? Drop it in the comments below. Now, some of you may or may not know what this is. This was my wife's experiment for the year. This is our kale section. She had me buy some kale plants, never even having kale before. We bought it, we've been growing it. We haven't really been eating it. I've been feeding it to my tortoise, but this is our kale section. I have these actually growing in different types of buckets. These are self-watering buckets. So if you over water, the water goes to the bottom and it stays in a little pool area and it waters through the week. Basically it does my job for me, so I don't have to worry about overwatering, underwatering. They keep the water in the bottom. I just, when I water every week, make sure it's full. But yeah, this is our kale section. Now I do know that kale is really good for you. It is a superfood. My family and I have just not found the right way to eat it. So if you have a recipe for kale that you'd like for us to try, write to us at infantryoutdoors.com. If we pick your recipe, I'll showcase it here on the show. So do you have a great kale recipe that'll get me and my family eating all this kale? Write to us and let us know. Also, if you have any tips, drop it in the comments below. But here you go, my 6 kale plants, I should say, because each one has 2 plants in it. So there's your superfood section. Here we have another new one for me for this year. These are ginger. I planted these in last year, probably about October of last year, and they are doing really well. These are also in those self-watering pots. See if I can show you here. There's a hole here, and underneath here is probably about that thick, and it just holds water. It just makes it so that if you overwater, it holds the water under here. The water will come out if you overwater it. But it basically just keeps water in the bottom of the bucket so that these can bottom feed and do well. So the ginger's doing really well. I wanted this importantly for ginger powder, stuff like that we use a lot in cooking and in our sauces, or you can use just straight ginger root. But I definitely wanted to give it a try. On top of, as you see, peppers and onions and things like that, spices are another importance that we use a lot of in the kitchen. So I wanted to try out and see if I could grow my own. But here you go, here's our ginger plants. Moving from the backyard garden up here to the front yard is a little bit different, but this is really where all the life starts. This is a place where I do my seeds, I do my pot-ins, I do everything up here because it's one place where I get sun all day, every day, and it's not a large space. So again, if you are renting and you don't have a large space, this would be a perfect example of how you can grow some food in a small area using these containers. And as you've seen in the video, every one of my plants is grown in a container. It's not grown in the ground. It's not permanent. This way, if I move or anything like that, I can always take my plants with me. If there's a cold front, I can bring them in the house, keep them warm, keep them from dying. These are all benefits of having food in pots. So let me walk you around the front garden and show you what we got. So what better place to start off with than where pretty much all life happens. Now, as you guys can see here, I have a seedling here, a sproutling. This is an Aloha Pepper. This is a pepper that we actually found at the grocery store. Cut the pepper open and use the seeds. I've never seen an Aloha Pepper. They looked really cool in the store. The one that we bought was a orange, red, like streak tie-dye combination. So this is where I start all of my seeds, all of my smallings, all of my bought from the stores. They all go up here on the rail. Now, these are the other Scotch bonnets I was telling you about. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 were actually in one pot. They all grew together. So what I did was I broke them down into individual pots, and they actually were replanted this week. That's why they kind of look droopy. Over the next week or so, they'll start perking back up as the roots spread out through the bottom of this and fan out. I did that so that the 5 plants growing together wouldn't choke each other out. 2, 3 is okay, but 5, I figured that would be a lot. So we have 5 of the Scotch bonnet plants, and back here is our smaller Reaper that we started from seed as well. Now, out of a whole pack of seeds, I only ended up with 2 Reaper plants this year. So I'm really hoping these do well and, you know, succeed, because I really want to grow some Reapers. But that's the start of the seedlings here, and I'll take you to the other side and show you the rest of our sprouts that we're growing from seed as well. So moving over here to my other area where life has started, these are a very special pepper that we can only get in the St. Augustine, Florida area. These are called datil peppers, or datil. I say datil, but these are our sproutlings. We also grew from seeds. My wife was nice enough to have a gentleman at her job give us these seeds to grow. Now, the datil pepper, I've never had it. I've never seen it. Know nothing about it. I do know that it's only found in the St. Augustine, Florida area. That's where it's commonly grown. That's where it's commonly found. So we figured we'd give our try in some datil peppers this year. If it does succeed, well, we'll have ourselves a nice datil pepper sauce is what I'm hoping to do. As we move through the garden, you'll notice our specialty plants like our Reapers. We'll get into our rainbow peppers here in a minute, our purple mulatas, things like that. I want to try to make specialty sauces out of them using only that ingredient. So for these datils, these will make a great datil pepper sauce. Now, we probably won't see anything from these guys till later this year, but I'm very excited for these St. Augustine datil peppers. Here's another one that we just started. Now, this one was purchased from Tractor Supply. This is a mammoth jalapeno pepper for stuffing. Now, I do have jalapenos that you guys will see here down. I have a jalapeno plant. They're the standard variety jalapenos, but these are the jumbo for stuffing. So what better way, if you like jalapenos, get bigger jalapenos, right? So we've got these that we started from. These were purchased from the store. All I did was plant them. They were about this tall. I went ahead and topped them. And when you top a plant, it encourages bushier growth. If you don't top the plant, it'll get tall and skinny and bush out on the top. So we want a nice bushy, thick plant, so we top our plants. But there you go, jumbo jalapenos. So what I'm gonna do next, guys, is I'm gonna basically go through, point out and tell you what we're growing really quick, because as you see, we've got a nice row of things here to show you. This one here is year 2 of miniature eggplants. They did really well in the bucket last year. I did not replant. What I did do last year is we had a cold front come in and almost kill off this plant. So what I did was I took any of the remaining eggplants. Now they're only about that big. They're not real big eggplants. And I've replanted them right straight into the bucket. And this is what we've got this year so far. We're just waiting to see what happens. So that is our mini eggplants. Now moving over to this guy right here is a perfect example of what I was just talking about. This is one of my cayennes from last year, one of the 6, and you can see that it's tall, skinny, and bushy on the top. Last year I did not top this plant, so you can tell if you don't top your plants, this is the result you're going to get: tall, skinny, and no bushes. So make sure that you top your plants. Moving over to this guy right here, these two right here are, again, some of my favorites that we have. As you guys can see from the colors here, these are called Santa Fe Grande peppers, and they're really pretty. They have this nice orange color. I'll bring you guys in for a close-up here. They start off on this color and they end up on this color here. So we have this plant here and we have this one here, which are also last year's plants. This is last year's crop. These did very well over the winter, so we just let them keep going, and we'll see what we get this year. Now I do want to plant in some more of these because it is a really good pepper flavor wise, so I would like to see how this one tastes in a sauce by itself. So then we move over to here. This guy here is actually my son Logan's plant. This is the only the only plant you're going to see in my garden that is not a vegetable, that is not an edible. This is a marigold, I believe is what it is. This is something my son started in school as a school project, and they sent home with us, and I said, well, let's see if we can keep it going. And he's just about he's got 2 flowers getting ready to come in. We're hoping that before the school year ends, the flower will open. Now this plant is almost as tall as my son. We're hoping that it opens and he can take a picture and send it back to school so that he can show his teacher how well his plant's been doing. Moving over here, we have our standard jalapenos. Just regular green jalapenos that everybody loves and enjoys, unlike the mammoth that we talked about a little bit ago, where they're going to be a much larger bell pepper. So we've got our jalapeno plants, which I do plan on planting more of these this year. I did use a lot of jalapenos last year in my recipe, so I want to go ahead and replant some more jalapenos. And yeah, so that's our jalapeno plant. Now this one here is one of 2 that we have in the garden. These are yellow bell peppers. This one doesn't have anything on it. Now this one's been having a tough time coming back from winter. This is what we've got so far. This is last year's plant, and it didn't really produce a lot last year. And this one particular is taking a long time to come back from slumber. So we just keep at it and keep trying. And that's, like I say, the fun of gardening is learning, is experimenting, is what grows in the pot, what doesn't grow in the pot, what does well, what doesn't do well. And over time, you'll figure it out. You know, you'll learn things like blossom end rot. You'll learn things like overwatering will kill your plant. Too much fertilizer, not enough fertilizer. I mean, there is a lot to it, but once you get in your rhythm with your plants, you'll have no problems. You'll know what each plant needs, when it needs it. You'll get on a schedule. You know, twice a week you water, like I do. Sundays and Thursdays are our water days. We put fertilizer once a month on everything. I use black cow compost, cow poop compost. To every couple of months I'll put some compost on top, let that water in. But generally it's just once you get going, it keeps on going. So let's keep moving down the line here. If you guys are enjoying the video, please give us a thumbs up. What are you growing in your garden, or are you excited to start your very first garden? Drop it in the comments below, and please don't forget it. Comments, questions, or concerns, write to us at infantryoutdoors.com. So let's keep moving on down the line. So as we move down our line, this is one of the most interesting plants I think I'm growing yet. This one is called a Buena Mulata. Now, I'll bring you guys in for a close-up, but the peppers on it start off purple, just like that purple bell pepper we had in the backyard. It's purple. And as it's starting to transition, it's changing colors to an orangish type color. Okay? I'm going to try these both as a purple. I'm going to let this one fully ripen, but I want to try a purple as well as a fully ripened pepper to see what the differences are. This is one I'm really curious to make a sauce out of in the purple color, because it would be a purple sauce. How cool would that? Purple hot sauce. But we're going to wait and see what color comes in here. I mean, we've got tons of them. They really are coming in really well. I really am excited for this plant. It's doing very well. I tried planting in some other ones. The seeds didn't germinate. So I'm going to have to order some more seeds for this and do some more of these, because if it tastes as cool as it looks, or it tastes as good as it looks, I'm going to be excited for this pepper. Now, moving over here is an experiment we tried this year, which seems to be working pretty well. And I'm going to upscale it in a future video with you guys. Now, this is garlic. These are garlic plants, and underneath here is garlic, you know, down here is your garlic bulbs. So what I did was I bought some garlic at the grocery store, put some dirt in a bucket, not just any dirt, some good dirt, and I planted in the cloves of the garlic that I bought from the store. And as you see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that made it, and we've already pulled 2, so 7. So we only lost like 2 or 3. So not bad. And trying to grow it in a little container like this, I think is pretty cool. This again shows you with a little bit of space, you can maximize your food output. Most plants don't need a lot of room. Like garlic, you got to think the bulb is only going to be about that big. How much room does it need? So this has been working. Next year, this year I'm going to upscale it to a larger size because I want to grow more garlic and do it that way. But there you go. Perfect example of different things you can grow in containers. Now moving over to our final plant right here. This is the other yellow bell that I was talking about down there, the companion. You can see a major difference. This is last year's plant, just like that one. This was overwintered, just like that one. This one has come back where it's got big, beautiful bell peppers on it. It's got foliage everywhere. We got 2 there, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's like 8 or 9 bell peppers on here already. And if you look at the plant that I showed you before, it's a major difference. So it's just, that's the trials and errors of gardening, is what is different between these two plants. I do the same things. I did the same things. One just took differently. They're like children. They're all different. So this one right here, this is our yellow bell. This will finish up our top layer up here. This is where I bring things that are either unique or they're younglings and they need the maximum amount of sun to become a full plant. And things like that. So up here you'll find like my unique plants, you'll find my seedlings, of course, and we'll take you down to the next tier and show you the rest of the plants that we have here in the front garden. All right, welcome to the lower level of my garden and the last area that we have to look at today. To my left and to my right, you guys will see 2 plants. These are very cool ornamental style peppers. They're called Bolivian rainbow peppers. And as I zoom in here, I'll show you guys all of the colors. I give you the tight shots of these little tiny peppers. Some are turning red, some are turning yellow, some are turning purple. And this one here is, again, like we talked about up there, same plant, same situation. This one's doing better than this one. Just part of the course, guys. But as you'll notice, there's all kinds of different colors on here, which is why I bought this particular pepper. Is I thought for my kids it would be really cool because it was more like a Christmas tree, and it looks like it kind of has Christmas light bulbs with the way that the peppers come in. And you do get a lot of different color peppers off of this tree. Some are purple, some are red, some are green. So it does offer a real pretty ornamental, but at the same time, I'm going to eat it. Again, nothing that I'm growing here other than my son's plant in our garden isn't edible. If I can't eat it, I'm not growing it. So here's our Bolivian rainbow peppers. Really excited for these. First year growing them. Hopefully going to make some hot sauce out of these. I'll be eating all of these peppers, by the way, guys, that you see. I'm going to be sampling on live streams. So make sure you check out our live streams Friday nights at 10 p.m. right here on YouTube and Facebook Live. So we're going to start sampling these peppers, especially the ones I've never had before, because I want to make sauces out of them. So Bolivian rainbow pepper, easy pepper to grow. All peppers are pretty much easy to grow, at least in my part of the woods. So yeah, let's move on, see what else we got. So over this way is kind of my herb area, my herb garden, if you will. I've got parsley, I've got oregano, and I've got cilantro. The cilantro is kind of, I don't know, not really doing great, but I also plan to get some more herbs to line along here, but parsley, oregano, and cilantro are herbs that we use on a regular basis. And again, that's the key and theme of doing this garden, is to supply your family with the things that you need and use on a regular basis. Why waste your time, money, and effort growing food you're never going to eat? So here's our herb garden, real quick to show you guys. And we reach the final area of our garden, starting from left to right. This one here is one of our blueberry plants. This is a low bush blueberry plant. This is its second year, and it has been its second year in this container. And as you guys can see from these shots here, you'll see the berries growing on it. You'll see that it's a really good, really healthy looking plant. We're excited because my kids love berries, and that's why we bought these, is so that they could grow their own blueberries and eat them. Now to my right, we have another blueberry bush. This is a high bush style, and as you can see, it is loaded down with blueberries. They're everywhere, and for our second year, I think this is really, really great that we're actually getting berries we're going to be able to eat. Now, the one thing that we do have to worry about with all these berry trees is, as they start to turn white like they are now, the next is going to be turning purple, is the birds. So I'm eventually going to make a little net system to go over this to keep the birds away from my berries, so that me and the family will have berries to eat. Down here on the end is our blackberry bush. And again, these three we started all at the same time, and it does have blackberries coming in. It is a really cool plant. I love blackberries. So again, the object of this is to grow things that we're going to use and eat. So if we don't eat them all, I'll make jam, I'll make something out of them. You know, preserves, stuff we can use in cakes and things like that. But these are our 3 berry trees for the year. These are all on our second year. I don't know what year they were when we purchased them, but I've had all of these trees going on 2 years, and they're doing very well. Again, all growing in container plants. So if I ever have to leave or circumstances are bad, I can always relocate the plant. Very important, especially if you're a renter. If you put this in the ground and you leave, you're leaving behind a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of work. So keep that in consideration if you are a renter. So yeah, let's move down to the lower level and we'll wrap this up. Over here on my step, guys, we've got celery. I started growing this over this winter. It's been doing really well. As you can see, I have it in the self-watering pots, as we talked about, in the back. This way I know that they're always getting water at the roots, and I'm not overwatering or wasting water. So we've got 3 celery plants. I figured that's all that we really needed, because we don't eat a lot of celery, but when we do need it, it's here and we're able to use it. So another great plant, depending on where you are. If it is too hot, they don't do well. But again, if it's too hot, the benefit of having it in this pot is I can move it to a shadier area, an area that gets less sun throughout the day. So in theory, I can grow all year round. So let's go over to our final set of things, and I'll show you my kids' hands down favorite plant that we're growing here in the garden, and then we'll wrap things up. So wrapping things up here in the garden, it's got to be hands down be my kids' favorite 3 plants that we're growing. And of course, we are going to be adding to these strawberry plants, guys. Strawberry plants, very good. This one here is in it. We've had this one. This is its second year. These 2 outer ones, this is their first year, but as you can see, for a first year, we've already got flowers. Flowers turn into berries. Here is a berry starting right here. Very successful plant. Now, if you do strawberries, there are 2 different types of strawberries. These are everbearing, which means they bear strawberries all year long. For my climate, for where I live, that's what's the best. And the thing that my kids love is coming out here every day and seeing if there's new berries to pick and eat. So strawberry plants in a bucket have done very well for us. I've got 3. I like to have 6 or 8 because I would like to come out and on a harvest day, rather than get 1 or 2 or 3 strawberries, to get a little bowl full of strawberries. And this is something that you'll learn. Start small, buy 1 plant, see how it does, see how much it gives you, see how much room it takes up, and then decide from there if you want to do more of that plant. So strawberry plants are an awesome plant in a container, going on 2 years strong here. Kids love them, great food source. Well, everybody, I sure hope that you enjoyed this first look at my renter's sustainable garden. It is a very easy thing to do, a great outdoor activity to get yourself outdoors and to grow food. And with the way things are going in today's world, it's really not a bad idea, even if you grow on a small scale. As long as you're growing food, you're benefiting your family. As long as you're getting outdoors and getting the vitamin D, you're benefiting your body. And as long as you're staying active, you're benefiting your mind. So all in all, gardening is a great outdoor activity. We will be bringing you more through this gardening series on this Renter's Sustainable Garden. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. I hope that you've learned something. If you have, please drop it in the comments. Let us know. We love hearing from you guys. And don't forget the questions we asked you throughout this episode. Please drop them in the comments below. And of course, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to write to us at infantryoutdoors.com. Go over and check out our website, infantryoutdoors.com, for all of our merch, upcoming events, photo galleries, recommended products, and so much more. Well guys, from my garden, I hope you guys have an awesome day wherever you are around the world. I thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, which 96% of you are not subscribed watching right now, hit the subscribe button, it's free to do. And don't forget that bell so you're notified when we post every Wednesday and when we live stream every Friday. As for me to Infantry, I'm out of here, guys. Hope that wherever you are around the world, you have a truly amazing day. And I hope that this and all of my adventures inspires you to get outdoors. So until we meet again in the garden or elsewhere, I'm the Infantry saying, have an amazing day, everybody.